I'm gonna like, you gonna turn green because that car is slowing down. I knew you was gonna turn green. Get my little piece of toast. Good morning, good morning. Blessed. We are blessed. Good morning to you guys on this fine day. I believe it's August 10th or it could be August 11th. I'm not sure. I don't have my watch on. I just dropped my daughter off and preparing for the work day. It's the start of the work week. We had a discussion. I was watching this influencer on TikTok, and he makes these compelling videos where he tells these full stories and he digs deep, but he always infuses a lot of good attributes into his content, and I thoroughly enjoy it. And I shared 2 videos with my daughter this morning as we were heading to school, and the first video dealt with 2 individuals having a discussion with each other. One was a friend and the other one was another friend, and a friend had met a girl and 3 days later she kind of had ghosted him and he was baffled by it, right? Long story short, what ended up happening was this. His friend was dealing with rejection, but instead of dealing with the rejection, he was looking at it from a different lens. He was looking at it from the lens that sometimes we all see people. We see them for who we want to see them as instead of seeing them for who they actually are. It was deep because to me, I told her I seen bits and pieces of her to me in that video. And then the next video was of a Caucasian woman talking to an African-American man and telling this man she wants a relationship, but she doesn't want a relationship because she does not want to lose who she is in a relationship. And at the end of the video, the perspective was there. It was understandable. I know what that feeling feels like, to be with someone and to not be able to differentiate yourself from them. Because at a point in time in a relationship, in order for it to work more, I want to say work, probably don't have the word right this second. If you want someone to become an extension of you, it's going to be from assimilation. You guys are going to assimilate, and before you know it, the other side of you knows your preferences, knows everything about you to an extent where you feel like someone that you're with is literally your left or your right, depending on who you are. So we was watching these videos and we were having a conversation because I realized that I come from a Black Christian household, meaning that in my grandparents' house, we was raised like this. If it wasn't gospel, it ain't get played loud. And if your music got cussing, it wasn't getting played at all. In fact, we couldn't listen to secular music, right? That was the standard. Couldn't be like everyone else, of course, as a kid. Everyone else get to listen to Snoop Dogg, Gin and Juice. I want to listen to Gin and Juice. Why can't I listen to Gin and Juice? No, because I'm a kid. I want to listen to it. I want to be cool. I want to be smoking out the window, sipping on gin and juice, lay back with my mind on my money and my... Exactly. That wasn't what a 10-year-old needed to be listening to. And Doggy Style wasn't exactly the album. And the B-side was, you know where I'm going. So I grew up in one of those. But I've always had my conflict, right? I don't want to say conflict no more. I never understood. We are given a Bible and it outlines what we must do as humans to surrender ourselves to our Lord. And yet we choose what we are going to take away from that book, and we manipulate it to our liking. Some of the ones I can always remember was that my mama used to do this one on me all the time, man. I'm a child of God, God gonna strike you dead. Use that terminology. And it'd be like, man, I'm not a child of God. We are children of God. But it'd be like, children, obey your parents, you know. But then you looking at it saying, it's not that I'm not trying to obey. I'm young and you're teaching me. But the patience that is needed to teach a child the way in which they need to go. Not every individual gracefully moves into that season unscathed. So, bottom line, I just think it's compelling and very interesting that a lot of times we have a double standard in the Christian household. We take the bits and pieces of the Bible, we make it applicable, and then we discard the hard stuff like lust, like idolatry or idols. I want to say idolatry. That's the word I wanted to use, idolatry. That's why for me, I'm segueing just a little bit. I respect the person in the pulpit. I grew up with a grandmother that was in the pulpit, and I seen her blessings and I seen her humanness. And because I seen all aspects of her, I understand the totality. The fight we're in, fighting with our flesh is weak. Our flesh has us lustful, wanting to manipulate, do others wrong, so on and so forth. And we have to reason and use logic so that we do not become overwhelmed with our emotion and feelings and let that negate us into actions that are uncompromising. Bottom line, you can have the Bible in us, we can have the word, but if we are not utilizing it verbatim as it says and not deviating and pivoting and offering our own interpretation to the word, then are we really following? Because I feel now there is a lot of people who don't have a heaven and hell to put people in that is telling people, I'm going to grant you access and this is acceptable behavior because it goes with society's norm. I question quite a few things that people say, and I use the Bible as my baseline for these conversations. Like, let's talk about some of the big ones. Weed, right? Where does it say in the Bible explicitly that one cannot medicate himself with marijuana? I have yet to see it. And then when it comes down to it, let's talk about lust. They say, so as a man think, so as a man act. So there's the notion that if a man has already thought about lust, he's already committed the sin. One sin is not greater than the other sin. I know there's people out here that are sharing it because I'm learning in real time. My social media algorithm looks nothing like my children's algorithm. These deep cuts, these deep video cuts, these new food videos. I mean, there's so many different pieces of content that I would be all the way transparent and honest with you. I do not know all the categories, but what I do know is this. My faith and my walk with God is an ongoing journey. And I know there's things about the old when brought up today that is conflicting. But all in all, I put my faith in God. And I say that to say this. I'm going to dive deep into the Black Christian experience. Because I know there's so many do's and don'ts, and we're really more monolithic than individual. But then again, we are surrendering ourselves to God, but the way in which we are shepherded leaves impressions and leaves Black households of the Christian faith conflicted. Because sometimes there are a lot of norms that are acceptable just on general purpose. But that's just my thoughts. I'm going to finish my toast. I'll holler at y'all later. Y'all be blessed. Straight up.